Hi, welcome to another episode of That's a Thing, Accent Core plus R. It is episode .88, as was foretold, and I think it's probably Wednesday,
Yeah, it's
the
probably Wednesday.
21st.
It's either Wednesday or Thursday. It depends if I forgot to upload it on Tuesday. Sometimes that happens.
So, thanks for tuning in, everybody. We appreciate your listening.
Yeah, if you want to hear all the latest takes about video game announcements, here you go.
Message a friend, tell them to give us a listen,
Yeah,
and if they don't, keep
keep doing it.
it eventually.
Yeah. Man, I had a really fun time at Magic the Gathering Commander because like just to get on things for no one, but a story I wanted to share because it
Good.
explains a lot about me. Where in like the multiplayer commander format, I was playing with some people, and one guy had a creature that was like really it's the new Joda. It's a 5 color thing. It's basically the core of his deck, and I killed it so many times that the guy like was inaudibly sad and put his head on the table, and I was so happy. I was so happy. I ruined his day.
Is Commander always a group setting, or do
Yeah, it's
people do like one on
you
one?
you can't do one on one. Like I mean, like with any format, but it's planned for 4 players. But it's just it was such a scenario where no one else apparently understood that you need to be running kill spells in your deck. So it was up to me
Uh,
to just keep killing this one guy's creature over and over, and he couldn't do anything, and I was
it's
happy.
God. No, do you know the most that takes me back to when we played, and no one else understood. You need anti-artifact and anti-enchantment spells.
Well, yeah, it's one of the mistakes of card games, and it's hard for me to do, even like playing so many for so long. Is you need to have removal and answers and interaction. Like you need to have. Listen, it's not the big monster that does all the cool stuff is great, but you got to have that kill target creature, destroy artifact, exile graveyard. Yeah, they're not fancy. They're kind of boring, but that's how you win the game.
It's it's one less thing you get to do in exchange for one less thing your opponent gets to do.
And depending on what, it's multiple less things that they get to do.
Yeah.
So yeah, that made me very happy. I was on cloud nine. I didn't show it as much,
Yeah.
but internally I was like, ah, yeah, this is what I like. But anyway, so how have you been doing before we talk about
I've
video
been
games?
Yeah, I've been getting along okay. I got an eye exam this past week.
Oh yeah. Do you need glasses?
Well, I mean, I've had glasses since like let's talk about elementary school eye exams.
All right, let's go for it.
So, did you have to like stand at a line and read off a faraway chart, or did you have to like sit down at a desk and look through like fancy binoculars and then they just adjusted that?
I think we did the chart, and I think because my mom was an eye or still is an eye doctor, so she just gave me an eye exam once for like fun. And you put on like the glasses thing. You say you
Yeah.
did all that kind of stuff.
So like the ones I remember doing are like the little sit downs and it's like the little binoculary things.
Yeah.
And I don't remember them saying don't squint because obviously they're overworked and they don't care and it's just like get one in, get the next one out, get the one in like
Oh yeah.
ad nauseum all day. So like I squinted whenever I was in elementary school to middle school and was like reading those charts.
Oh.
And so I'm like, I have 20/20 vision.
Turns out you were
I just
cheating.
get Yeah, it turns out I just get like headaches like right above your inner eyebrows all the time from squinting all day.
There you go.
Um, so I got glasses circa 2014, after the stunning realization of like, I think it was around the time we were watching like 10 episodes of Hunter x Hunter in a
Yeah,
bang,
no, that's how it'll do it.
and it'd be like reading the subtitles when I'd leave with a headache, and I was like, oh, maybe there's something here.
Yeah, I get headaches. Like yesterday was Red Zone day. After we watched 7 hours of football, I get about a headache. That's probably because we watched
Mm-hmm.
7 hours of football.
Mm-hmm. That'll do it.
Hell, it was, yeah. So you got glasses. I'll probably have to get glasses at some point.
But yeah, so I put in for glasses. They're supposed to come by this Thursday.
Yeah, glasses.
Yeah. And otherwise that's the personal life business.
Yeah, okay, we got that out of the way. So, we're only going to talk about video games we want to talk about. So, if you're ready to hear all the hot stuff, we're going to talk about stuff like like the Tekken 7, Tekken 8. Tekken 8 CG
Yep.
movie. Looks pretty good.
I think some of that was like I don't know, like, they were definitely mixing between in-game footage and movie footage.
I feel like that was a target render or like a concept video, that kind of thing of like, this is what we kind of want the game to be. Maybe not as like half cinema, like it is half cinematic, but it's like this is the tone of the game. Maybe that's what I'm trying to look for.
Yeah, I feel like this is definitely the evolution of putting the slow motion in at the end of the game
Mm-hmm.
and saying, what more can we do to have the game engine recognize certain interactions, and how can we then enhance that through cinematics?
Is Kazuya gonna get a counter hit on this punch? We're gonna zoom in on it, show him like auto flexing, and then he's gonna hit you real hard.
Yeah. And that I imagine is a hard thing to do in real time, for the game to be like accessing things and be like, oh, this is counter hit is coming.
Yeah. Sadly, nothing talked about the netcode yet. Even though
No,
Murata
Kevin.
hates it. He hates talking
Sad.
about netcodes.
Yep. The real sad is that they confirmed it's Tekken 8 and not Tekken Cross Street Fighter.
Yeah, well, I mean, they can just throw in some guest characters, and if they throw in enough Street Fighters in there, it's fine.
Listen, I want it to be Tekken 8 :
Cross
Project
Street
X
Fighter.
Zone. No, Project X Zone 3 or whatever.
No, what we want is Jonesy in Fortnite. He was the one that's contacted by Kazumi to kill her son Jin.
Okay.
He will do the gritty on her corpse. But yeah, that looks good. Street Fighter 6, I'm very happy about it. I like everything they're showing about it, mainly because it feels like it's going to release as a finished video game.
Mm-hmm.
Because like Street Fighter 5 felt like it released in early access, but like for full price and everywhere.
It also felt like it was in early access for 2 years.
Yeah. It was like after, I think we've talked about it, but it's like after season 2 or whatever, it feels like, okay, now Street Fighter 5 is like complete, like at retail.
Yeah. It's just Street Fighter 6 does look a lot better with all the features it has and single player content.
Yeah. Well, it looks like they're releasing a full featured video game.
Yep.
And it's like, okay, to me that's good. That's what I want to see. Am a little bummed about only 18 characters at launch.
I'm not.
It's fine.
Street Fighter,
it's a fine.
That's between 4 and 5.
Yeah, there's something about like the 20 to 22 I really like.
Mm-hmm.
It's kind of like that first 4 of like DLC 1. What if those were just in there?
Actually, it might be more than both Street Fighter 4 and 5.
Yeah, I don't. I thought Street Fighter Five was like 16.
Yeah, and Street Fighter 4 I think is 16 too, but that gets weird because then I think about the console launch,
Yeah,
which
that's
had more characters.
yeah. Oh, I can't find it really quickly because it's all like, okay, there's so many versions, and then I try whatever. But yeah,
Yeah, no,
it's also
yeah,
been
no,
different enough.
uh-huh. But so I don't know. I like the base roster. I was hoping I have no reason to. I had no reason to, but I was like, okay, but then you're gonna show us another character, right? On day 2.
They showed us the four, and then they got one more. You know,
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it's
I
it's
need to see the big woman.
well, yeah. There's the big woman and the pink haired woman. I need them both. I want to see what's
The,
going on there.
the French pink-haired lady's name got changed.
Ah,
She was Mimi in the initial leak, and now it's like Maron or something.
good. But yeah, like I want to see those two. I want to see what's going on there. And I'm down. I like all of the returning World Warriors. They seemingly getting more gimmicks. I like Blanca still
So
with little toys, and then he's electrocuting them. That's great.
no, I stand 1,000% that it proves you're Blanca main, just because he does the hop into an up ball and he just says, "I'm too smart."
Yeah. I mean, I always try to not. I try to go into every fighting game with eyes unclouded, where I go, I'm gonna play the whole roster and pick the person that feels right, not based on like aesthetics or
Yeah.
like gimmick, because I feel like trying to go like, all right, I'm gonna force myself to play this character that I can't make work is just misery.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, like Blanca seems cool. I like what they're doing with him. I
My
like
real problem, my real problem with the roster is that it's all Street Fighter 2 characters, Street Fighter 6 new characters, and Jury.
Yeah, I
Like
would.
there's no 3 or 4 characters.
I mean, I
It's
understand
just
putting the 8 World Warriors in there makes sense. I'm fine with that. I have no qualms. Like these are the crew. Because honestly, like the eight Street Fighter 2 characters, like they cover in a lot. Like that's a lot of archetype for you. But then it's like, I agree with you where it's like, how about like a little bit more representation from the old stuff? Even if it's just like, I mean, even like how Kimberly is like guy student. That's like the guy. Like I'm
yeah.
cool. Like I would want to see stuff like that. Like, yo, here's
E
here,
Honda's kid.
yeah, or like E Honda, or like, yeah, that
Or
sort of
here's
deal.
yeah, or like here's one of the orphans Dalsim has been looking after.
Yeah, a yoga trainee who's trying to do Dalsim stuff but can't stretch their arms, so like they're kind of having to futz with it. Like how Minot and Rose were.
Yeah.
You're like, oh, that's cool.
Also, it's so annoying. People are like, "Oh, that's garbage that Akuma's not in the base game," when they have 2 Shotos who are in the base game.
Also, I really like what they're doing with Ken.
Mm-hmm.
They always give Ken like some really cool moves, and I look at it and I'm like, man, that's really cool. I'm not gonna play this character.
Mm-hmm.
Like in Street Fighter V, the coolest move in my brain is still like Ken's heavy Tatsu, where he like kicks you down at the end of it. It like goes up at an angle and then he kicks you down. I'm like, oh, that's so cool. And in this one, what?
Ken's heavy Tatsu, he does like a kick up and then Hurricane kicks down.
Yeah, that's what I'm talking about. That's the one.
Okay.
That's the one. like this one, I think getting it confused with the stuff where I saw in like the move where he's like doing like crossover tattoos that are knocking you
Yeah,
down, and I'm like,
he
oh,
has like
that's
that
awesome.
kick. Yeah, and he's got the like heavy DP now that then he kicks you down to the ground after.
Yeah. That's like his big like ultra or whatever, where like he
Mm-hmm.
knocks you up in the air, but then it's that final like just punches you back down. I'm like, oh,
Mm-hmm.
it's that last little hit. I love it.
And that one's better, but there've been a few supers I've seen so far where the editing for how they work I just don't like.
I really like
Like
Dalzim's
I
Aura.
oh that's pretty the whips.
Yeah, that's so. Like, I'm like, yeah, because it's like I like how it's like doing like how like they draw Luffy punching, but because he's actually stretching, it's just actually stretching and hitting him. You know, it reminds me of
See,
One
to me
Piece.
it's less Luffy and it's more Yuppie from Hunter x Hunter, Potemkin.
Yeah, okay.
Like it's more like that because his limbs are staying out. He's just literally whipping them.
Yeah,
They're not retracting and going back out. No, they're just out and he's just whipping you.
and I just like it's like how sometimes you'll see drawn where like they're punching a lot and they're whipping, but he's actually doing it. So it's kind of like
Yeah,
that. Both like, oh, okay,
yeah.
that's cool.
Um,
I like it.
but like I like the idea of Guile's super, but I don't like how the momentum is supposed to do that. Like he flash kicks you like in the air, but then he stops and puts his foot on you to do another flash kick, and it's like I don't know if they need to show him do a full backflip and then land on your chest to do another one, but the way it's cut right now, there's
It's wonky.
yeah, it doesn't line up like it should.
Obviously, I like Juries. I think it's good. They brought back her Street Fighter 4 Super, and then they put a little extra at the end. I like Kimberly's Ragnarok with the spray paints. It's great.
So apparently, if whenever she does that, she gets a damage and speed increase afterwards that continues into the next round.
Oh, that's great. I
Mm-hmm.
like that because it encourages you. Like it benefits. It's such a okay. I'm sorry, I'm losing my words, but it's a smart thing to reward you for doing a super and not just spending your meter on like EXs and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's cool. Even though like in this one, like it's just your EXs come from your like your bar. You have like
Yeah,
your stuff bar, and that's where the EXs come from, and then you have like your super meter.
yeah. I don't. What's that like? It's under the health bar. You have your bars.
Yeah,
I want to call it your V system, but this isn't
like it's
Street Fighter
not what
Five.
it is. What is that system? I'm okay. Hold on, I'm looking it up. Like I know it's
Like,
called something.
cause like it's the word they use for all the things like your focus attack, but instead it's called a something. And your like command dash, your focus attack dash cancel, but instead it's just like nope, it's this dash.
Yeah,
And your parries use it.
like I'm trying to find. I can't find it.
Um,
What's, what's
your Vi system, as in VI, as in six Vi system.
Yeah. Oh, it's the drive system. It's your
Yes,
drive gauge.
yes, your drive gauge.
Yeah. So you have like a super gauge and a drive gauge. So it's the drive. Which is like it's like one of the drive is one of those words I swear has been used in like other fighting games for like the same thing.
I think those are called overdrive, though.
Yeah, but I mean like it's dust. There's a lot of
Mm-hmm.
D's. A lot of
Mm-hmm.
D's systems where you're like, oh, that's like the dust system, the whatever. But yeah, it's the drive gauge, which I like. It kind of reminds me like of like I think one of the Mortal Kombats or Injustice had something like that, where they had like a defense meter.
Oh, so yeah, I think that was Injustice 2
Yeah.
because they had you could spend you could like EX your dashes to turn into like a dodge roll.
Yeah.
Maybe I and like MKX had the stamina meter again.
Yeah. Yeah, because I think it was one of those. It might. Yeah, it was like where like you had like the breaker or whatever, and that was the one that is like always the best choice to use. Where you just used it and it just made you fall out of a combo. And it was always like, yeah, just do that. All the other options do not matter. And it replenished slightly too quickly.
That was MK11.
Yeah. But yeah, I mean, Street Fighter 6 looking good. The closed beta's next month.
Are you gonna apply for it?
Probably not.
Because you got a beefy computer that can run it.
Maybe. I don't know. I mean, probably could.
Like that's the nice things about fighting games is they're not as demanding. Cause like it might take it a bit to load in, but then it's like, okay, there's not a lot here that I actually have to keep track of now that I've loaded it.
Yeah. I guess I should probably just apply to it. Because
Also, you probably won't get accepted anyway.
Yeah, that's true. Because I'm not that much of an influencer. Oh, it's on October 6th through 10th. Okay, yeah. Yeah, I think probably could do it. But I just have to
I don't really have anything that could run it. I'm surprised it's going to be on PS4. Oh, also, yeah, Kevin, that's the other thing. They'll probably have graphical settings to run it in PS4
just put
mode.
it in PS4 mode. Like I don't care. I really don't need it to look like ultra good.
So far, I still don't have a reason to buy a PS5. Sorry, Tekken 8, you're not enough of a reason for me to buy a PS5.
The God of War for me is, but like, I will get a PlayStation 5, but I will not work to get a PlayStation 5, if that makes sense.
Yeah, that's the other annoying thing, right?
I'm not going to like go into the subreddit that like the subreddit Discord server with a bot that's like going like, okay, in 20 minutes Walmart will do a pre-order line for like I'm not doing that.
Yeah. I'm not setting Wario 64 notifications for like immediately alert me.
I have no need to like put inordinate effort to do that. At some point it's like, okay. That's the thing. Like I would probably, if I had to choose, I think I would say like, screw it and just get like an Xbox. But like all of the games I want to play are like PlayStation. Xbox has nothing for me.
But Kevin, they're buying Call of Duty.
Well, yeah, they're buying all this crap, and it's still like nothing. Like I'm like, what? I'm not. That's like I do not understand the Xbox. Like,
why have they not bought Sega already?
That would that unironically would make me consider it if you're trying to get like a Sega or like a Square or something. I'd be like, okay.
I think Square is too big, but I think like I don't know. It gives
Sega's
them
on
the
table.
Foothold, and it gives them the foothold in Japan that they desperately want. Like
Sega
instead of all these other deals
stuff.
they've done, yeah. And they own such hit features as Sonic the Hedgehog 1 and Sonic the Hedgehog 2.
And Sonic the Hedgehog 3. Also Sonic the Hedgehog 3 and Knuckles. you can argue like Sonic CD in there. I think Sonic CD is pretty good. I don't think it's as good as like 1, 2, 3, and Knuckles. And I'm gonna count. You know what? Mania. I'm gonna put Mania with like the core Sonics. I think Sonic Mania is like superb.
Sorry, I meant feature films.
Oh, yeah. It does have, yeah. Both Sonic 1 and 2 are pretty good. Dare say up there with like Mortal Kombat as best video game movie. It's a low bar, but they hit it. Like like I don't know. But yeah, that's it's always the impending like next gen of like I want to get some of this stuff, but like I don't know if I'm gonna do it. I think they showed a bunch of like Nintendo showed a bunch of stuff and like there's a bunch of farm games and I kind of don't I have like none of them did anything for me. And I like farm games. I played Stardew Valley. I thought Stardew Valley was really great, but I can only play like one of those games. Like how many fantasy farm games do you need?
Yeah. I don't. I watch these, but like I also am fully aware I'm not gonna buy any of these games.
That's
I
that's
like I
that's
like
becoming more and more true.
I'm the next video game I might get. Okay, Street Fighter 6, the next one like I'm probably am getting. I I might get Splatoon 3 at some point, but there's also only a Switch Lite in this house, so I can't even hook up to an Ethernet port. So I'm gonna be playing it on Wi-Fi, and I'm like, well, I hope this is a good connection.
It's probably fine for Splatoon. For Turf
And my
War, it's fine.
yeah,
You're
and
not.
like my brain is like, and maybe I'll get Sword and Shield, or no, what's the new one?
Oh yeah, the new Scarlet and Violet.
Scarlet and Violet, yeah. And I'm like, oh wait, the tutorials that run for multiple hours in Pokemon games. I think I'm good. I think I'm
I am
okay.
so like that is the first Pokemon game, main series Pokemon game that like I'm feeling nothing towards. Like I didn't feel like I kind of felt that nothing towards like the Arceus whatever, but looking at the Scarlet and Violet, like I don't feel anything. Like even Sword and Shield, I'm like, okay, I'm gonna get it and play it. But like this one, I'm like, I don't know, man. I really don't know.
I mean, Sword and Shield had the advantage of being like the first new one for the Switch, and not like Eevee and Pikachu. It was like, no, this is
Yeah,
the first like new, focused, real deal, Switch made Pokemon game.
I'm just like casually looking at stuff that's come out and it's coming out. I'm like, I don't know.
Yep.
Like a lot of it's kind of like it well like some stuff I fell off way hard. Like I've completely fallen off of like multiverses. I think I talked about that, but I'm like out. And I think part of it is it's kind of like it's the 2v2 mode and the fact that like I feel like also they keep nerfing Velma, which is the character I played. So now it's like I feel like oh man.
So you went from like, oh man, I'm really good at this game to like, oh, they okay, they
Oh,
just keep
I'd
nerfing.
accidentally picked like the toppest tier.
I'm sitting here playing Third Strike as Chun Li, thinking, oh man, I'm good at this game.
Well, yeah, because and you could tell like I was because then I played as Bugs Bunny, and you're like, oh shit, Bugs Bunny has no like there's no weaknesses there. That character could do everything, and you're like, okay. It's like I get what that's happening.
Also, I think it's Rumbleverse came out, and that kind of scratches the same itch as Multiverses.
Yeah. I also feel less upset whenever I get like Battle Royale screwed over completely in Rumbleverse than I do having a bad partner in Multiverses. Like
Mm-hmm.
when I'm trying to have a one-on-one and some guy runs up behind me and supers me in Rumbleverse, I'm like, okay, that happened. But I'm like, that's just Battle Royale. Sometimes you just get sniped out of nowhere. Whereas like getting teamed up with someone that's just tanking your entire game and you're just miserable and you can blame that one human. You're like,
Man,
please.
you're talking me out of buying Splatoon.
Yeah.
I forgot about playing Splatoon
Oh yeah,
1,
that's the team-based thing.
and it's just my arms aren't strong enough to just carry a whole team.
Yeah, you can't. Sometimes some games in that you just lose, and you're like, "Why are we just losing?" It's like, "Yep."
And then you look at like all around your base is just barely painted at all, or what is painted. It's like I did all of this. All of the paint that's on the ground is because you idiots just kept running to the front lines to fight, dying, and respawning. Ugh. Ugh.
Honestly,
Yeah, Rumbleverse is not for me. I played it again. I should have. I loaded. I played one match. I won it, and then I should have stopped. I should have been like,
oh, you
okay,
should have just went out on top.
yeah, I should have just went out on top.
Oh, that was a mistake.
But it's just that game is just not for me. It's just not.
Yeah, so like
I
I'm
don't
just
know.
looking at
I don't
video
know.
games, and it's like the next one I'm probably gonna get is
Yeah.
like the Rabbids and Mario sequel, where I'm like, oh man, I like
Have you
that.
played the new Shadowrun games?
No.
Because they're just like they're cyberpunk fantasy XCOM games.
Yeah, I did get the new achievement because you had to. It was an easy one in Vampire Survivors where they just gave
Yeah.
Poe an Arcana. And I'm like, okay, I'm gonna
Hmm.
get that one.
Yeah.
So now I'm back up to full. That is like the only game in recent memory where like I'm like, no, I have to 100% this one. Like all
Also, for
Chivos.
listeners, the price goes up on the 21st.
Yeah, you should get in Vampire Survivors now.
So the downside is if you're listening to this and you don't own Vampire Survivors, the price has gone up. But they're also supposed to announce the actual release date of the game soon.
Well, that's good.
Yeah. Version 1.0 is on the horizon.
Then it can win Game of the Year.
Yep.
That's still my Game of the Year.
Heck
Like Elden Ring is pretty good, but unfortunately, it came out the same year as Vampire Survivors. It's just not. There's no comparison. Cause Vampire Survivors leaves me feeling like yeah. Whereas Elden Ring, I was kind of done at the end. I checked my Steam time for Vampire Survivors. Apparently, 47.5 hours. And all of those hours have been good.
Let me see if I can check that from my phone. I feel like I should be able to, but then I'm gonna think it's not gonna let me because it's stupid.
It's fine. Like, even if it doesn't, it's okay. What else? What else? Video game? Oh yeah, they did you see any? Well, probably not. But I'm just gonna as a conversation. Did you see any of the leaked footage from like Grand Theft Auto 6?
No, I didn't because I don't care about that game.
So I watched it just because of one, there was the drama of it where people were saying like, "Oh, this game looks terrible" and stuff. So I looked at the leaked footage, and like
Yeah.
the leaked footage is actually alpha footage. I
Uh,
feel like games like you can still see like there's like meshes around characters, and like one of the videos is just like a character like going like, all right, he's in the gun, and now he's leaning out of the car, and now he's like doing the animation test of like him like going back and forth, and then you see like the hitbox of like the gun, and you see the hit, like one of them was just like main character girl, because I think in the game you play as like a guy and a girl crime couple, and she's just like walking in and out of like a gas station as they're testing like how the door reacts with the hitbox. And I'm like, yeah, that's like alpha footage.
Mm-hmm.
I think people have been taught through video games what that alpha and beta are not actually alpha and betas anymore.
Mm-hmm.
That's just like the multiplayer demo.
Yep. The beta is just the like finished product
that's
that
like
needs testing.
Yeah, like,
and even then, the betas people get access to, it's not the game beta, it's the network beta.
Yeah, like for the Street Fighter 6 closed beta test, it's the network beta test and stuff. Like,
yeah, it's not the game beta.
You're not loading in there and you're seeing like two spheres fight like a cone of hitboxes against each other. Like, that's not what you're seeing. Are you seeing like Luke with hitboxes of Chun-Li fighting Luke with hitboxes of Zangief, and they're just doing that to test the hitboxes instead of modeling it? Like, yeah, that's just alpha.
I imagine for these games, at least in this era, they should. So okay, definitely Street Fighter V's alpha was Omega mode in Street Fighter 4.
Yeah,
because that was even the developers like of Street Fighter V who made Omega mode. It is. Yeah, people do not understand making a video game is hard and long.
Also, some of this can be blamed at the video game developers themselves for turning like multiplayer demo as like beta, and then they put the word like alpha on foot. Like, you see like the E3 things where they're showing like a pre-rendered cutscene and they say closed alpha footage. It's like, no, that's not a closed alpha footage. Or they're just putting like that. They just put the words closed alpha on it, so if there's like a glitch or a bug, then they can say, oh yeah, we'll fix that. Or it's like, no. Get out of here. That's not what an alpha looks like. It's like where you see people on like drawing stuff and they're like, oh, here's a quick sketch I made. And you're like, no, you didn't. It's not that quick sketch. That's been like fully done. Get out of here. But yeah, I just thought that was dumb. For me with Grand Theft Auto 6 or whatever, like my cynical take is they just want like a new place to get all the people that have bought stuff in Grand Theft Auto 5 to go to the next game and then rebuy everything.
So, I mean, yes, but also, to be fair to the developers, there's only so far you can push any engine like that.
Yeah.
So after a set amount of time, it's like, okay, we have crammed as much as we can here. We have to make something new now. And then that's a nice chance to then look at all the most popular stuff from the previous one and bake that into the core of the new one.
I just want that game to not be like Red Dead Redemption 2, where you're like trying to make me play through like a 50-hour movie.
Yeah. Yeah.
Where it's just like, all right, you got to play through the 50-hour Western movie, but like you can't deviate on like the missions, which is the fun part of Grand Theft Auto. Was like, okay, I get to do this zany thing. I gotta blow up this guy's car, but if I put a car in front of it, he can't drive around it. And then I get to pass the mission easy. Or it's like, no, you have to do this horse ride. And you have to follow the trail. You can't just cut through the mountains and get there faster. We have timed our Western thing to go through the horsey ride around the thing. You have to drive it.
I can't remember. It was one of the giant bomb people. And they were talking about, like, the escort mission for the covered wagon ride. And they're like, I just got a sniper rifle through the story. So I was like, oh, so, like, I can just climb up on top of this building and just provide, like, sniper cover fire. And then the game fails them for being too far away from the covered wagon.
Yes, those kinds of moments are why I stopped playing Red Dead Redemption 2 real quick. It was like that game has like a skip mission button. Like the game just says, screw it. You just gotta go watch the next like our 60-hour Western epic. Just watch it. I'm like, no. I just want to play a game. That's part of the fun. I play Grand Theft Auto 5. I did all the story mode. I didn't do the multiplayer mode. And then people did like Grand Theft Auto 5 roleplay.
A lot of people did that.
A lot of people did it. I don't even blame them. I don't even blame them. Because, like, if you get enough people who are doing that and are for real, then that's just, like, the dungeon. That's, like, peak MMO is when when people are like, all right, we're all going to buy into this, like, fantasy setting. But I guess it's, like, the real world setting allows people to buy into it way quicker. It's like, all right, I'm just going to be this guy. I drive a truck. I'm gonna team up in the world, and now a guy who's pretending to be a cop is pulling me over. All right, let's have some shenanigans. Which I
don't know. I messed around with Vice City when I was younger, and I don't those games just don't. They're just not for me, and that's fine.
No, that's fine.
I just don't care about the Grand Theft Autos.
I think it's like, I mean, to me, the peak of those games is still Saints Row the Third, because it's fun to play and it escalates wildly. Like, few games have escalated to as perfectly as Saints Row the Third. Where, like, you're starting off as, like, an exiled crime member, and at the end you're having, like, a fist fight on top of the SHIELD helicarrier. And I'm like, yeah, that's great. But it was also because that game was novel, and then, like, the other Saints Rows didn't just copy it, and other games didn't copy it. But it was really novel to play, like, here's our Grand Theft Auto after, like, the realistic Grand Theft Auto, or at least, like, pseudo-realistic, like, Grand Theft Autos, and then it just turns goofballs at the end.
Yeah.
Where you're, like, flying around on your hover bike, and you're going into the cyberverse, and you're like, this is stupid. I love it.
How do you feel that it's not called Yakuza anymore?
I'm good with it, because Like a Dragon is, like, what it's called in Japan.
Yeah.
So it's like, that's Like a Dragon. I'm glad that they're bringing over Ishin over. That's cool.
So, what was the previous Yakuza game called in Japan?
It was just like Ryokata no Goja or whatever. It's just Like a Dragon.
Yeah, and it was just like whatever. It was Like a Dragon number
1, 2, 3.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's just numbers.
As opposed to here where they're like Yakuza Like a Dragon, and now it's just just Like a Dragon.
Yeah.
We're just keeping the number in and we're going on.
Yeah. Because it would be like a Fist of the North Star or whatever. Or like that's why like Yakuza Like a Dragon in Japan was just Like a Dragon Quest.
Yeah.
And that was the point.
Oh, that's fun. I didn't realize that's what... Oh, okay.
Yeah, that was the whole... And your main character, he really likes Dragon Quest. It's an RPG.
And, so how do you feel that this new Yakuza game, this new Like a Dragon game, Kiryu's back as a main character already?
That's just how it is. Of course. He's never really gone. They can't get rid of Kazuma Kiryu so quickly. He was in Like a Dragon.
Yeah, he's a summon and like he's part of the story too.
Yeah, he was like a boss. Like you had to fight him. It took all your party to beat him up. Which is accurate. Yeah, like nah, he's gonna be there. He has to show up and like they keep dragging him out of retirement like a
dragging him out of retirement.
There we go. Also, everyone likes to see him. I like to see Kiryu show up. I'm like, hell yeah, he's back. Now
I think there's an angry Polygon article by someone that he's back, and they're mad because they were promised a new protagonist going forwards.
Well, they got a new protagonist, just not the only new protagonist.
The other new protagonist is Kiryu with a new haircut.
Yeah, with new hat. That's just how Ichiban's pretty good though. He's great. He's a bit more sleazy than Kiryu, but he still has like the heart of gold.
Oh.
Like he's a bit more sleazy, but he's more heart of gold than Kiryu. I think that's what I would put him at. Like he's like naive.
Whereas, like, more trusting.
Yeah, whereas Kiryu's like the stalwart, I think it was described as like the stalwart Japanese ideal of masculinity is Kazuma Kiryu. Of like tough, unyielding, but like still like emotionally kind. That kind of, you know what I'm saying.
Mm-hmm.
Like the ideal man is Kazuma Kiryu. He's loyal, but he sticks to his own beliefs. But he's also tough, and he helps out. Whereas, like, Ichiban's a bit more, like, sleazy, naive. There's a bit... Ichiban's way more willing to cry. Whereas Kazuma Kiryu would only shed, like, a few manly tears, like Kinshiro. Apparently, that Chainsaw Man did a trailer.
Yep, I watched that.
Yeah, I watched it.
Still excited for that.
Yeah, that's gonna be good. I like how some of the flares they're doing with like the blood shooting out when Denji's transforming.
Yeah,
like that's the kind of things I like to see in a good adaptation. I read the Wikipedia summaries of the Witcher, not the Giver sequels.
Oh yeah.
And so from what I could, so this is like to end the podcast. Giver 2 is okay because it's just like another story set in the world of the Giver. Like it's just about like a village that's outside of the community.
But no, it's the village he lands in.
Well, that's like, hey, from what I could tell, I might be wrong, but yeah, like,
you are.
I am wrong. Like the character shows up in Giver 2, but it's like Giver 2 is like it talks about what that village's deal is.
Yeah, but that means it also just the Giver 2 existing nullifies the ambiguity that is the ending 100%. Of Giver 1.
Oh, if it gets worse like that. Okay, so like yeah. Giver 4, so to skip Giver 3, like I didn't quite understand because the Wikipedia summary wasn't very long. I think Giver 3 is going more into magic. And I mean Giver 3 and 4 start to get like magical, and I don't like that. Like I like the vague psychicness of the Giver 1, and there's a little bit of that in Giver 2, but like Giver 3 and 4, it's just straight up magic. Like, Giver 3 is about, like, a cursed woods.
What?
Yeah, it's, like, about, like, a cursed woods and about, like, people that, like, live on the edge of, like, a cursed thing where when people die, like, their souls go to the forest and the forest is alive.
Why is this in the Giver universe?
I don't know. And then, like...
this is some real. I have this idea for a book, and the publisher says to sell any copies of it, it needs to be branded The Giver.
Yeah, like it's weird. It's not what I like. And Giver 4 is both a prequel and sequel to The Giver because it's about the baby brother's mom. Like the birth mother or whatever. And it's about her, and then she like makes like a Howl's Moving Castle deal with some ghost to become old to find her baby. Like it's weird.
What is even the hell?
Yeah, I don't know. It's weird. It like I'm like it, and I just it's really strange that like it just turns full magic. I don't like it. Like it's I don't get it. I'm not a fan, Lois Lowry. This should have been
Not
like a
a
separate
fan.
book series. It doesn't need that Hot Giver license.
Yeah, really.
Like, I'm sure it's probably written fairly well. 'Cause those books are written well. But yeah, so I just wanted to talk about, like, the descent into magic. I may also be wrong because I haven't read the book. I just read the summary of it because I'm not going to read Givers 2 through 4. The podcast is not large enough for me to continue that bit.
Yeah, really.
If we were getting like actual numbers, if we were getting, I would even say like 100 views per episode, I probably would have like considered reading those books and giving the book report. So that's what it's gonna take.
But we're not.
No.
So
We're not even hitting double digits.
So I say thanks again to all of you lovely people out there who do tune in week to week.
Yeah, I'm glad you're listening. Tell your friends. If you want to force me to read the Giver quadrilogy, that's what it's gonna take to do it. I'll do it. Don't worry, I'll do it. I'm a fast reader. I could rip through one of those a week easy. It wouldn't even take that long.
Really? Yeah. You could rip through, I think, all 3 in 1 week.
Yeah, probably. But nah, see, you have to do one a week so each episode gets like the full review. You gotta spread that content out. Okay, if there's 1,000 views on the videos, I'll rip them all out in a week. That's the thing. If we get to like 100 views, I'll begin to read one a week. And if you get me to 1,000 views, I'll read all of them in a week.
For each 100 viewers we get, we'll read one new The Giver book.
There you go. That sounds fair.
The game is set.
The die is cast. That's how we're gonna go out. Have a good week. Bye.